Oh, we're live. So I'm signing books with the Attorney General of Indiana. I've got Todd Rokita, and we've actually. I wish we would have kind of gotten even the first part of our conversation. We're having some signal issues with but broadcasting live from CPAC here in Washington D.C., technically Maryland, but I get.
No, it's going to be with you, Dana.
Thank you.
You still get the Washington D.C. vibe.
So we were
Both
talking
good and bad.
We do. We were talking just a little bit about actually the management of a law firm.
Right.
So you technically are running the largest law firm in the state of Indiana, 400 lawyers, right?
400 people, half of them are lawyers, half of them are support staff. So that's about the right balance. But yeah, and I don't like to brag about it. Like I wasn't bragging to you because I like government small. But the fact of the matter is, we are certainly the most diverse law firm in the sense of the various cases we do for our client being the state of Indiana, its government, its office holders, all its subunits, which include its agencies. Heck, you even represent the Supreme Court in litigation from time to time, when they get themselves in litigation. So a different branch of government. So it's a diverse law firm, and it is the biggest, depending on how you measure it, really. But we're claiming the credit, so to speak, for the biggest law firm, and it's a huge job. It's a job I absolutely love, like the law firm you run. It's fascinating work, and no day is ever the same.
It's really, really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you were kind of talking, and you really kind of do the same thing I do. And my joke to him was, I was like, I determine status, I make the assignment. I determine status, I make the assignment. I determine status, I make the assignment. And it's about the management and
the great people that are right underneath you that are really doing the day-to-day work. And I'm so blessed to have great public servants, some new to public service, some who have been in public service for a long time, actually, but are not bureaucrats. That's my one rule.
Not bureaucrats.
Yeah, you come in here. Well, I got a couple of rules, but you come in here with some kind of bureaucratic attitude or some kind of bureaucratic answer, and you're on a bad path with me.
Yeah.
And you're not long. I mean, we just don't have time for it. And so even in the law, which is, as you know, by its nature, can be very bureaucratic, and necessarily so when you talk about things like due process and everything else, right? I mean, you got to understand it. But even so, today in my hotel room before down here, I had two conference calls with my top management, talking about how to get outside the box on a particular issue and come at it from a different way. And I'm just really proud of them. I'm really proud. And I think the people of Indiana are blessed to have these public servants. And I know from your state, I know my good friend Ken Paxton feels the same way.
I don't know if Ken's going to watch this or not, but I actually text back and forth with his wife. There's nothing there. It's purely
Angela
professional. I think everybody likes Angela better. But I think Ken is the best attorney general we've ever had in the state of Texas. He is extremely effective, and it's an honor for us to have him.
You know why I know he's effective? Because the same thing that's happening to me in Indiana is because he's so relentlessly and baselessly attacked.
Correct.
And
if he was ineffective, they didn't care, and they would want him to stay.
Right. And there's a couple of us around the state who are the Ken Paxtons, really, of our state in that sense. That we're just attacked relentlessly. Like there's weaponization going on with me right now. They couldn't get me at the ballot box. I'm proud to say, but also very humble to say, I have the record for the most votes in the state of Indiana.
Excellent.
And in any given election, after President Trump, right? But for a statewide office holder, and so they can't get me at the ballot box, but so they're going after me in other ways, and that's what they do.
Are they trying to get your law license for something?
Oh yeah.
See, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. So and it's weaponized. So they have it.
Yeah.
The guy that's filed these things has literally gotten an award. Democrat Activist of the Year.
Of course.
He's been bestowed that award.
Yeah.
So he files complaints against me, and the deep state, if you looked up deep state in the dictionary, like a state deep state, right? Indiana would come up with this commission on it. They meet in secret. They're all anti-Trump or Democrats. One of them, that was the chair as they were investigating me, okay, wait for it, endorsed my opponent. Right? They're investigating my livelihood and my license.
And they endorse your opponent.
Yeah.
There's no bias, though. No, don't worry about that.
The next guy, President Trump endorsed me. I endorsed him. The next guy said, "Oh, we're take care of that. We got to." Okay. He endorsed Kamala Harris this year, the Republican. Yeah. that's what I'm dealing with.
That's very Republican.
So very anti-Trump, but point being, I'm not here to whine or cry. Leaders lead, we fight through it, and as long as we have the support of the people, that's what we need. That's the encouragement we need to keep this fight going against injustice.
Well, look at what Trump had to go through.
Yeah.
And look at what Ken's had to go through.
Yeah.
It's just the gauntlet now.
Yeah.
I mean, you stepped up, and that's just par for the course at the moment.
Yeah. And speaking of stepping up, I was proud to go downtown to Texas and stand with Ken Paxton on the borders 3 times with him.
Nice.
We became the first Indiana, as a result of that and Ken's leadership there and having me come down, Indiana became the first non-border state to file suit against Biden.
Nice.
Not enforcing the border.
Nice.
So we're still in court over that. I don't have to tell you, these are long baseball games.
Oh, yeah.
And, before Trump got elected, we were probably in the second or third inning. And now we're hoping we can get some resolution. We're going to get the lawsuit maybe moved because we're getting the problem solved with Kristi Noem, Pam Bondi, Tom. Now I have partners to enforce against this illegal immigration where before I was ignored.
Excellent.
Yeah. So
isn't it nice to kind of be able to be effective in winning now without having to fight ourselves?
Elections have consequences.
Elections have big consequences.
Obama was right there. So.
Yeah.
No.
So, what are the biggest problems that you're facing in Indiana?
We talked about a couple of them. We have our crime rate's gone on over the moon.
As Attorney General, are you allowed to prosecute election fraud?
Not criminal. So, this is a great civics lesson. Every state's different. I'm not sure where Ken's jurisdiction.
Ken had it, and then the Supreme Court had a case. The supposedly Republican Supreme Court had a case and took away the power for him to prosecute election fraud. I was surprised at this election that places like Dallas and Houston did not completely out and take over the whole state from the governor down.
So under our statutes and our constitution in Indiana, our county prosecutors, you might call them county.
That's how it
DAs,
is in Texas.
They have 100% discretion to file criminal charges, and they guard. I'm doing this because they guard it so jealously, frankly, and in some cases unreasonably. I mean, at least your attorney general in your state should be a backup to filing, I would guess. But they don't like it that way. They want to guard that turf, so they are. And so, for example, we have a couple jurisdictions where they categorically won't file criminal action given the subject.
Yeah.
Now, I do have a lot of civil authority. So for example, coming back to immigration, we do have a few recalcitrant sheriffs who are elected, police chiefs under some liberal mayor in some of our bigger cities that won't help. They won't help Tom Holden. They won't help ICE. They won't help Kristi Noem enforce immigration law.
So that creates a danger.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's a danger
because now you're letting them out. Now they have to go do a raid house with innocent people there instead of picking up safety after already apprehension.
Right.
That's just wrong.
It makes our communities unsafe. It makes the officer in extra danger. And by the way, guys, for those of you who say you don't want to help ICE, think about it this way. You don't have to do all the paperwork. As soon as you find out you have an illegal alien, just call ICE and get yourself out of the paperwork, if nothing else.
Well, but I think the problem is that you have the people that are in charge aren't the ones that have to do the paperwork.
That's right.
So
I think our rank and file really.
I think the rank and file do.
It's just the police chief is under orders from the liberal mayor,
right,
or the elected county sheriff in places like St. Joseph County, which is Notre Dame,
Oh.
or the People's Republic of Bloomington, Monroe County, that's IU. So some of our college towns, maybe like your Austin, are very lived out.
Yeah.
And so your politics is reflected that in your elected sheriff.
Do you know what the left is in Texas? You know what the left side of Texas is?
What?
It's Austin.
Yeah. Good. I hope it stays that way, guys. I mean, honestly, as a guy from the north, okay, I'm from the north, fully admitted.
Never bothered him any.
Yeah, it does. Texas is my second favorite state. And it's true. You know, I got a couple second favorite states, but there's something to be said for a group of people who used to be their own country.
Right.
And I hope you guys never lose that.
Well, it is regularly discussed of Should we do that again?
Yeah.
Could we do that again?
Yeah.
And the past 4 years, it was discussed a whole lot more.
Yeah.
And I thought there might have been a possibility for it. And you know, if this election, if there would have been evidence of fraud in this current election, we would be having serious discussions about things like that.
And your people are not to be blamed for those discussions. I mean, that's
No.
You know, there's been, as you well know, there's been other things a lot headier in this country. In fact, hey, you know what? This session in Indiana, here's one. There's a bill and there's talk of several, I think as many as 30 Illinois counties who are interested in seceding the People's Republic
Absolutely.
of Illinois to Indiana.
Sold.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
let's
we've
do
looked
it.
into that a bit, and you have to have both legislators sign off, and you have to have the federal government sign off. So I don't know how
The federal government would sign off right now. What
Okay.
percentage?
You know what? I don't know those details.
You better hurry because you only got about a year and a half.
Yeah, that's so true. You're right. But those conversations are happening. Like, whoever heard, like a part of a state seceding.
Well, California wanted to do that.
No. So,
California wanted to. I heard as many as 5 states that they would break into.
5 counties. Or no,
Or
5
5
they would
states.
divide up into 5 states.
Yeah, which I think that would be great.
Yeah.
You need to have LA be its county, and then San Francisco
Yeah.
be its county.
Yeah.
And
No, so these conversations are real, and I think as an engaged citizenry, we ought to always be cognizant of it, and that should help drive, an elected official's vote thinking, right? How they think on a particular issue.
absolutely. So we talked a little bit briefly about education. So you got some background in education. What are your thoughts on Trump's idea of abolish the
Right. Well, in full
Federal.
disclosure, I had that bill for a while in Congress, so to get rid of the federal department. So I'm all for it. You know, you never had the votes. You had more moderate to liberal Republicans even that won't.
You don't think he's going to get it now?
I mean, who knows now? I mean, all bets are off, right? And I'm
Yeah.
certainly for it, but you have this contingency. And again, I'm speaking from 8 years ago. So again, dynamics could have changed. But yeah, there's a group, solid group of Republicans that would put it at the positive. That will be definitely for that. It's a matter of embarrassing, cajoling, or encouraging the Republicans that are rhinos or moderate to do the same. And you might be able to do that now. Because it's failed. It's failed. Forget about the constitutional aspect of it and the fact that education is not in the federal government's enumerated powers under our Constitution.
No, it's not.
It's just not working. It's a big waste of money.
It's a huge waste of money.
So all for that. In Indiana, I used to be in Congress, I used to be the kindergarten through 12th grade education chairman. So I took that experience into my attorney general role. And so we have something called the Parents' Bill of Rights, because what we know is that parents need to be in charge of the education, not
Correct.
government.
Correct.
Not government.
Correct.
And so I have a whole book it's based on Indiana law, what parents can do, what parents can't do under our law. Because what I saw a couple of years ago, when parents started getting interested in what their kids were being taught because of this stuff, nonsense like CRT and everything else that was being
And the gender stuff and all of that.
Gender and all that stuff. I saw it as wonderful. No one used to go to school board meetings, and now parents started showing up.
Yeah.
And I was horrified when in places like Virginia, near here, where they were being called out by school resource officers for wanting to talk
Right.
as taxpayers and parents at a school board meeting. It's ridiculous.
It is
So
ridiculous.
I made sure that they were protected in the state of Indiana.
Nice.
And then I hope, and I say this on your show because I want it to be replicated in other states, I hope you do something like we just did, and it's run out of the Attorney General's office, the Eyes on Education portal. Missouri had something similar. We were told that CRT and it's critical race theory and this other stuff, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen anywhere in Indiana. That's somewhere else. I immediately got submissions from parents, 30 or so. Here's what's not happening in my kid's classroom.
Yeah.
Here's what's not happening in my kid's classroom. And so it was like, what to do with all this? So we validated it, made sure it was real, and we throw it up on a webpage. And so now parents can look up their school system, see if they're on there, and
Nice.
see, okay, this is what's getting taught. Now, the education establishment went crazy. He's putting that up there. He should take it down. Why? I'm not taking it down. Then it was, we don't do that anymore. You need to take it down. I'm like, that's nice that you don't do it anymore. I'm glad, after being exposed, you're not doing it anymore, but it's not coming down. If you want, I will put up your statement and show
Fair enough.
how you say you're not doing it anymore. Well, why aren't you taking it down? Because everyone needs to be reminded of what you're capable of.
Correct.
So it doesn't happen again, right?
Yeah.
And this happened. Here's their response. It doesn't happen anymore. Apparently, you guys watch. You parents, you watch and make sure it doesn't happen. So it's all about empowering parents to give them the tools. Hey, I'm the father. Kathy and I have a 17-year-old and a 15-year-old. We, it's hard. We understand how hard it is to be a parent now. It's insane, as it is.
It is.
I'll take every tool I can get.
You're competing against the phone.
The phone,
and all of everything that comes through it.
The evil that comes.
It's
through
evil.
It. So I'll take any tool that can help me, and I hope the Parents' Bill of Rights and the Eyes on Education portal can do that.
That's excellent. Well, Todd, I really appreciate it. Thank
Dana,
you.
Good to meet you.
Really good to meet you.
And guys, I'm taking this back. He was signing it. I'm taking this back to our law clerks. He's got some good ideas in here. I want to go through them more, but if I had this in law school, I might have been successful.
Well, if you get more successful than Attorney General, you've done pretty well for yourself.
I don't know. It's an honor to serve.
Thank you, Todd. I really appreciate it. I'll sign this for you.
All right.
This is the Lawyer Dana Show. We are broadcasting from CPAC in Washington, D.C., 2025. This is the Lawyer Dana Show. Man, that was great. Okay, really good to